Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our discovery unit today. We're both going to discover something new, but we're also going to talk about a TV show on Discovery Channel. And the program we're going to be talking about today is Property Wars. Property wars, okay? We all would like to own property. It's a good investment. I guess sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but most of us would like to own some property. The more, the better. And we're actually going to your backyard here, Stephanie. We're going to Phoenix, Arizona, in the valley of the, what is it, the Gila River?
No, the Valley of the Sun.
Valley of the Sun, right. But in any case, well, it's not really a valley, is it? Kind of all flat there? There's not really
there's a valley, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got mountains surrounding us.
Okay, well, they're kind of far away, though, aren't they? But
No, they're not. They're not that far away. We go hiking on them.
Okay, well, I was there many years ago visiting a friend.
It seems very flat, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, my idea of a valley is kind of what they have in Colorado, but
not quite the same.
But
sure.
in any case, we're not really talking about valleys. We're talking about houses, and this is a TV show in which people they make bids on houses in auctions, and they don't really know what's in the house until after they win the auction.
Crazy, huh?
So that's why it's kind of gambling here. We usually think of Las Vegas as the gambling capital of the world, or maybe now it's Macau, I don't know, but in any case, Phoenix, Arizona is a gambler's paradise. I didn't know there were casinos in Phoenix.
There are no casinos in Phoenix, but there are lots of ways to gamble. If you take a risk, you're gambling. Some people who like to invest in the stock market are taking a gamble. They can lose money or they could win big. We're going to talk about some people who are on this show who are gambling with real estate. Let's get started, guys. We're going to read through the article and then we'll be back.
Phoenix, Arizona, U.S. is a gambler's paradise, but not the kind you'd expect. The glittering lights of Las Vegas are only a distant thought in Phoenix. Here, ordinary people bid thousands of dollars on houses that they're only able to see from the outside. Once a house goes up for auction, the race is on. The house belongs to whoever bids the highest amount. The winner will only find out if they've spent a small fortune on treasure or trash after the auction's over. TLC's show Property Wars follows these bold bidders as they travel across the city in search of the best pieces of real estate. Veteran buyer Doug Hopkins has been in the game for almost 20 years and is known as the King of the East Valley. This area of Phoenix is in demand because of its great schools and parks. Some of Doug's rivals, Los Angeles, LA business partners Ed Rosenberg and Steve Simons, and local buyer John Ray are all hoping to get in on the action in this popular neighborhood. First up on the auction block is a 3-bedroom, 1,800 square foot house in the East Valley. The house has a market value of $135,000 US, but the starting bid is only $100,000 US. The buyers get to the house minutes before the auction starts to inspect the property. Doug, who arrives first, gets an inside scoop from some neighbors who say the house has been remodeled. Despite noticing some water damage, he's ready to bid big with this information. The others, unaware of Doug's secret knowledge, back down when the price reaches $118,500 US. Doug's successfully defended his territory.
Okay, guys, we're going to get started talking about our Discovery unit. This time we're talking about Property Wars, which is set in my own backyard, which is Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is the capital of Arizona. I live in a smaller city that's connected to Phoenix called Mesa, which is nicer. Anyway, we're talking about a desert area, and a show is set there. It's called Property Wars, and it's about some people who are gambling on property they haven't seen before they buy it. It sounds kind of crazy.
Exactly, but that's what this is all about, and you kind of take your chances when you bid on a project. So you push your luck, which is part of the title here. If you push your luck, it means you've got luck, but you decide to keep on going to see if you can get some more luck. This is probably something that happens to gamblers when they go gamble at the casino. They're playing blackjack or whatever, and they've won some money, so they think, I've been lucky so far, so I'm going to push my luck and see if I can win some more. And of course, the casino wants you to do that so they can win back the money you've won, and that is usually what happens. So it's kind of similar here. They're making bids on these houses, and they're pushing their luck. They're trying to see how much luck they have and see if they can buy a really nice house for a cheap price.
Yeah, good for them. Property is anything you own. It can be land. It can be a house. Usually, at least in Arizona or in the U.S., if you buy property, you're also buying the land. Except when you're buying an apartment, you're not buying the land that it's on. But if you buy a house, you're buying the land. It includes the land, at least in this particular show. So when you see property wars, they're bidding on real estate. Real estate can be just the land, but it usually includes a house if you're in an area that's already built up. And Phoenix is one of those areas. Now, it calls it a gambler's paradise. We've talked about what a gambler is, someone who takes risks. If you have a gambling problem, you probably go to the casinos too much. So you got to be careful with that. People can get addicted and it can ruin your life. Now, a paradise is pretty much heaven. If something's a paradise, it's perfect. I think my idea of a paradise for vacation is being up in the mountains where it's nice and cool, no one's around. But other people like to go to the beach. For example, maybe Hawaii is a paradise for some folks.
Or Bali, that's a tropical paradise. Or maybe even Kending could be considered a paradise here in Taiwan. So yes, indeed, Phoenix is a gambler's paradise, but not the kind you'd expect. So we're not thinking about casinos like we usually think of when somebody mentions gambling. The glittering lights of Las Vegas are only a distant thought in Phoenix. Las Vegas is actually... Well, it's in the general same part of the country, but it's still, maybe about a 10-hour drive away from Phoenix or something?
Yeah, we're in the middle of Arizona, and Las Vegas is on kind of near the middle, so it's a 12-hour drive. Yeah.
In the state of Nevada, so it's a good distance from there. But, if you're in Phoenix and thinking of gambling, you're going to have to drive quite a ways to Las Vegas.
No, actually, you can go to the Indian reservations. They have gambling now.
I was going to ask about that. Yes, lots of the... Indian reservations have casinos on them. There's also riverboat gambling where I'm from in the Midwest there. You can get on a riverboat and gamble away. But in any case, if we're talking about the glittering lights of Las Vegas, where something glitters, it shines, but also kind of sparkles. The light comes on, it goes off, and you've got all sorts of different lights. And this is probably referring to the neon lights that are blinking on and off. They probably got LED lights there now. It's probably quite spectacular. I've never actually been to Las Vegas myself.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
It's not my favorite city. It seems kind of sad. A lot of gambling. It's not my kind of city, to be honest.
The mafia's there, too.
Yeah, it's kind of ugly. It's in a desert. My desert in Arizona is beautiful, but the desert in Nevada, not so pretty. Okay. Anyway, a lot of people like that, though. You can get a cheap hotel. Because they want to encourage people to come and gamble. And the meals there are cheap, too. So if you want a cheap vacation and you don't gamble, go to Vegas.
But don't be tempted by gambling because it might be tempting. Well, if I just bet $100 US, I might be able to turn it into 20,000 US.
Forget it.
But it's not going to happen, everybody.
No.
Take it from me. But those are the glittering lights of Las Vegas. It's a distant thought in Phoenix. Here in Phoenix, ordinary people bid thousands of dollars on houses that they're only able to see from the outside. So I guess these houses are offered on auction, which is in the next sentence here. But basically, yes, they bid thousands of dollars on houses. So here we've got the word bid, which has to do with an auction. Maybe you've seen an online auction like eBay or Yahoo has an online auction as well. You offer a price for an item, and if somebody offers a higher price, then they get that item before a certain time. And normal auctions, I used to see them when I was a kid. Hey, $1 to the man over there, $1, $5, $4. They kind of talk like that.
You grew up in a farm area, and they had auctions for animals.
Well, they'd have estate auctions usually.
Cool.
If somebody passed away, then they'd auction off all of their possessions, the furniture and stuff in the house. We had that for my grandmother when she passed away, an auction for
What's that really famous company? It starts with an S, and they have auctions.
Sotheby's?
Sotheby's. They're here. They're here in Taiwan. I've seen them. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you have to be a millionaire to go to their auctions. They auction off famous paintings, things that are really expensive. But that's what an auction is. You bid a price, and whoever bids the highest wins. Sometimes they're silent auctions, so you don't see what other people are bidding, and then you just win in the end. So kind of fun. So once a house goes up for auction, the race is on. People want to win. They want to, be able to get that house for a good price. The house belongs to whoever bids the highest amount, and that's how an auction works. The auction Tom was talking about is really funny, where a man stands up in front of the crowd and talks really, really fast, which I can't understand them.
Yeah, they're especially trained, and it's actually quite interesting to watch them. And, of course, they're auctioning off various items. People bid on those things, etc., etc. And as I said, the ones I saw were estate auctions, where they're trying to sell off things of the estate that someone has died.
Yeah, someone passed away, and they didn't leave their house and things to anybody, so they auction them off. You can get cool things at auctions at those estates sometimes. Now, the winner of this particular auction will only find out if they've spent a small fortune on treasure or trash after the auction's over. So they are only able to see the outside of a home. And as you know, sometimes you can walk in and the inside's been torn apart. So it's really a big gamble, I would say.
Right, and they don't want people to see it, I guess, because they might get a higher price that way.
Yeah.
I suppose that's done on purpose. So whoever bids the highest amount will get that house. Okay, whichever person makes the highest bid, then they win, and the house is theirs, either to live in or resell it to someone else. And they'll find out later if they've spent a small fortune on treasure or trash. Fortune here just means a large amount of money that you've gotten by working really hard, making a killing on the stock market, or maybe you've had an inheritance from your parents or grandparents, and you could spend a small fortune, which means, a lot of money, yes, but not like the kind of money that some millionaires in mainland China have, but you're still spending quite a bit for either treasure or trash. Remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah. Some people consider something to be very valuable that others think is really just junk. So let's move on to the second paragraph here. Oh, before we do that, though, let's take a quick break. We're going to listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to talk about these property wars.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们看的是第6单元。好，我们先看这边提到的节目叫 Property Wars。Property Wars 这个节目呢会在 TLC 频道上播出。那 Property 本来就是代表财产。好，我们来看这抢标是怎么一回事。首先我们呢就要提到节目里面呢，这边要介绍一个地方是在美国的 Arizona， 它有一个城叫做凤凰城。那这个地方呢，当然这个是一个赌徒的天堂。可是这怎么讲呢？原来这个赌徒指的就是这些投资客啊，他花钱去投标一个房屋，而且比较重要的是，因为这是法拍屋，它只能从外面看房子，它不能够进去里面。像赌徒一样，你在不知道很多未知的情况之下，你用大笔的钱去做交易，然后转手之后可能获得很高的利益，或是赔得非常惨。那我们来看这个地方有一个动词，就是 bid B-I-D。 既然我们讲抢标投标这个字一定要知道 bid 就是投标，但是你说你把钱投标在什么上面，记得介系词是 on， 所以这边有说到 bid thousands of dollars on houses， 注意到前后 bid 加 on 之间的关系。好，那我们再来看下面就说到了 一旦呢房子开始送交拍卖，这也就是这场竞赛的开始。好，注意到这个字 once。Once 其实它本身有很多的用法，它有时候呢其实就是很纯粹很简单的一个副词。我们也知道它可以是一次这种解释，但是如果 once 当作连接词，它连接一个子句的时候，它有时候就像在这边一样，它的中文是指一旦什么事情发生，一怎么样就怎么样。好，那我们知道这是一场竞赛，那这个房子呢到底是谁的？其实是谁他标的最高，那就是他的。Whoever bids the highest amount. Whoever 其实就是 anyone who bids the highest amount. 谁看看到底你出钱出的价格最高的话，就是你的了。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's time now to continue with our lesson for today. Again, we're on the Travel and Living channel, and they've got a television show called Property Wars. This takes place in Phoenix, Arizona, and they bid on houses in which they can't see the inside of. They can see the outside so they can make a guess, and maybe they might have some inside information or something. That might be the case as we talk about Doug Hopkins in the next paragraph. But in the next paragraph here it says, TLC's show, Property Wars, follows these bold bidders as they travel across the city of Phoenix in search of the best pieces of real estate. So they're bold. If you're bold, that means you're assertive and you are brave. You're not afraid of anything. You're willing to take risks.
Yeah, I like that. They're kind of courageous and they are not afraid of things. They're confident. So they're bold bidders. Remember we talked about what a bid is when you say you're willing to pay a certain amount of money for something. Well, the people that are putting those bids in are called bidders, a bidder. So they travel across the city in search of the best pieces of real estate. The Arizona area is very popular because it's warm in the winter and we get a lot of people we call snowbirds who live in cold places like Minnesota, and they move down to Phoenix in the winter and then they go back home when it gets really hot because Arizona is a desert and it's hot. So they're looking across the city for these great pieces of real estate. I mentioned what real estate is. It can include property, but it can be a house and a property, both. So veteran buyer Doug Hopkins has been in the game for almost 20 years. He's been doing this kind of thing for 20 years. You can say you've been in the game when you're talking about any sort of industry. They've been in the game for almost whatever. He's known as the king of the East Valley. I'm in the East Valley. That means he likes Mesa, Arizona area. That's the East Valley. Now, if you're a veteran, you've been doing something for a long time. You baseball fans out there, or basketball fans who watch U.S. sports, you know that we call the players who've been playing for a while veterans. And the ones who are just new, it's their first year, are called rookies.
That's right. So Doug Hopkins has some experience in this. He's been doing it for quite some time. So he's been in the game for almost 20 years. You can refer to the industry in which you're working the game. I've been in the game for a long time. I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. And he is known as the king of the East Valley, as you said. This area of Phoenix is in demand because of its great schools and parks. As I said before, I don't really know much about Phoenix, but I guess that's kind of an area that people want to be in, so you can expect probably lots of wealthy Chinese investors trying to get in there to send their kids to some great schools.
Haven't seen any yet, but it could happen, sure.
You never know. They do that in places like New York and San Francisco and stuff like that. But again, this place is in demand because you can get in those school districts, and they've also got some nice parks. So when you have your kids, you can take your kid for a walk in the park, maybe do some exercise or something and enjoy the great outdoors. And some of Doug's rivals include Los Angeles business partners Ed Rosenberg and Steve Simons, and also a local buyer by the name of John Ray. They are all hoping to get in on the action. They want a piece of the action in this popular neighborhood. So these are his rivals. Your rival is your competition, the person you are competing against to get something that they want and you want it too. You could be a rival for a certain kind of girl that somebody else likes, so you try to impress her, buy her diamonds and stuff like that. So that's a rival. The other person who wants her is your rival. But it could also be in terms of business. One person wants to buy that house. Another one wants to buy the house. So that's your competition, your rival.
Your competition is great. Now, if you're talking about a neighborhood, you're talking about a district of a town or a city that you live in. So it's a popular neighborhood they're looking at. And if it's popular, it's expensive. And so the prices that you're going to pay are pretty high. We're looking at an auction block. What is up on the auction block? That's kind of a phrase we use when one item or one product is ready to be sold at an auction. It's on the auction block. It's just a phrase we use. So it's a 3-bedroom, 1,800 square foot house in the East Valley in my area. And 1,800 square feet isn't very big, but it's, it's a nice size house for a young couple, I would say. The house has a market value of $135,000 US. But the starting bid is only $100,000. So they're actually bidding below the value of the house, which makes it sense as to why these guys are in this game. You could save $35,000 just by participating in an auction.
Indeed, and as you said, that's not a very big house, and of course I've gotten myself used to the pings.
I'm pings here, so I don't know how much 1,800 square feet translates into pings, what it would be.
Yeah, there's probably some mathematical formula. I think all of you know that, so you could figure it out in terms of pings. But in any case, the market value is $135,000 US, which sounds pretty cheap to me, but the starting bid is only $100,000 US. Even I might be able to afford that.
If it's $135,000, I'm gonna guess that maybe the inside of the house needs fixing up.
It probably does, and the buyers or the bidders, they get to the house minutes before the auction starts so that they can inspect the property. So they get there before the auction begins, and the reason they're arriving there early is because they want to inspect the property. And if you inspect something, you take a careful look at it, you observe all the details because you want to assess the value of it, you want to find any flaws or problems so that you're not made a sucker later on.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like a sucker. So it's good that they get there and they're able to check things out first. Now, Doug, who arrives first, gets the inside scoop. Now, if you get the inside scoop on something, guys, it just means you get information that other people don't necessarily have. If you're a reporter and you have the inside scoop, you have news that none of the other reporters have had their hands on yet. So it's kind of cool. So he gets the inside scoop from some neighbors. Always talk to neighbors when you're buying a house. And they say the house has been remodeled, which means after it was built, they decided to change some things. Maybe after 10 or 15 years, they remodeled. We do a lot of remodeling in Taiwan. I've seen it in my building. So despite noticing some water damage, maybe a pipe broke that was carrying water through the house and it had water damage, he's ready to bid big with this information. So the whole game is to bid high enough that it's not too high that you don't, waste money, but you got to be above everybody else.
Indeed. I wonder if that's the equivalent of insider trading. He's got some special information there.
Yeah,
but
that's illegal.
Yeah, that's illegal, but I guess talking to the neighbors ahead of time, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure, do it.
But he's got that information, and the others are unaware of his secret knowledge, so they back down when the price gets a little bit too high for them. The price reaches $118,500. So if you back down, that means you no longer pursue something, you kind of give up and you let somebody go ahead. That's similar to the term to back off. Hey, back off, don't do that anymore. Stop doing that because you're making me angry. So they back down, they decide they're not going to bid anymore, and they go ahead and let Doug win the auction.
Yeah, it's interesting. So if someone has some secret knowledge, I think they're going to win. But it says here that the others are unaware of the secret knowledge. So we will see who gets the upper hand in the next episode. Here, for example, we know that Doug was successful. He was the winner at putting up or putting down the winning bid. Right now, guys, we're going to listen one more time to our Chinese teacher.
我们继续来看这个抢标房地产这个节目内容，它有什么精彩可期的地方？那我们知道这个里头要谈的其实有一位叫 Doug Hopkins， 他可是一位买房的个中老手。那他说啊，他已经在这个行里面打滚了20年了，而且呢，他被叫做东谷之王。我们看到这一个片语is known as， 我们知道 when somebody is known as， 那就是以什么角色，以什么样的身份为人所知。好，这个地方的身份他说是 King of the East Valley， 可是有时候你看到的可能介系词不是 as， 可能是 for， be known for， 那就是表示加一个特质、特色、特点。好，这个介系词的使用上要特别注意。那他之所以被称为这个称号，当然很有道理，他很会抢生意，而且常常都是赢家。那我们就要来看看他所做的房地产买卖咯。好，他讲到第一件这个登上拍卖的房子就在东谷。好，这间房子呢，他说是 3 bedroom 1800 square foot， 这样子的大小，这样子的规格。好，我们要先注意一下，他说到数字的时候，我们知道我们在讲复合形容词，如果提到数字后面连串的这个所谓连线符号之间的名词呢，因为它已经是复合形容词的一部分了，所以千万不要去加复数 s 哦。比如说像这边的 3 bedroom， 这合起来是一个形容词，所以这个 bedroom 即使是3间也不要去加 s。而一样的道理，后面那个1800 square 这个也不要去加 s， foot 也是保留单数的。好，那注意到他提到的第一间登上拍卖的房子，这个句子其实它是一个倒装句，因为我们知道真正的主词是指后面这个房子，而动词是 is。不过我们如果只要是牵涉到像介系词片语表示地点的，表示时间的，我们放前面的话，其实整个句子是会有倒装的形态的。好，那我们来看到这间房子呢，当然它的起标价其实并不高，可是呢这个 Dog 他很厉害，因为呢他呢已经有得到一个内线的独家消息。我们看到他这边用到的 inside scoop， 他呢从邻居的这个口中得知，原来呀，它里头其实有重新装潢改建，尽管有一些漏水损伤，可是很值得买，所以呢，他就决定下一场豪赌。好了，这边我们先看一下，尽管看到房子有一些漏水损伤，它用到 despite noticing， 这个 despite 其实它是一个介系词，语义上就是尽管虽然，但是要记得它是介系词，所以后面它就是接名词或者是动名词，这也就是为什么 noticing 会加 ing。 好啦，他虽然注意到，可是他还是觉得值得投资。 OK， 我们今天介绍先到这边，我们下次继续，明天见。
Well, that's just day 1 of our discovery unit. We've got another day, as you know. Hope you'll join us then to see if Doug's gamble paid off. Actually, we know it paid off, but is it going to help in the future? And what does the house look like inside?
We'll find out next time as the plot thickens, so please make sure you join us then. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.